Hey, so I'm going to read you the first chapter of my next book, Lucidity. This is a book that I'm currently working on, so it's a work in progress. Lucidity takes place in a universe where dreams are connected, specifically lucid dreams. Now, this means that if a character or someone in the universe has the skill and desire to do so, they can enter another person's dream and take control of it. So, in addition to enjoying the story, readers will learn how to lucid dream along with the main character. This is the preface. Elijah couldn't remember having listened to a waltz in his waking life. He couldn't quite recall what a waltz actually sounded like, nor how it was performed. Yet every night, since the accident, he had dreamt of her, the Swan Lady. She always wore the same half mask. It was white with pearls and delicate flares rising from one side, giving the illusion of a bird taking flight. It matched her shoes, her dress, the music. She would stare straight at him, her eyes curiously searching his own, almost demanding to know why he would dare disrupt her special night. There was no doubt that this dance, this show, this event, whatever it was all about her, and that he was clearly an uninvited guest. Her eyes haunted him. A vivid, deep blue, they seemed to shine. Her gaze lit up everything they took in. Whatever she looked at was illuminated and sharp, yet that focus point quickly became dim and hazy when she altered her gaze. The dream seemed to move with her. Where she looked, he followed. He had no choice. The dream pulled him there. On the first night, he hid behind a crowd of other boys his age and just watched her. He couldn't help it. She was at the center of attention after all. She moved around the dance floor, gracefully changing between partners as she went. Perfect transitions, never missing a step. As she moved, she looked at the crowd surrounding her. As she looked, those boys became men. They grew tall, rugged, and handsome. Their clothes transformed into pristine evening wear. Their shoes shone. Some wore bow ties, others wore fancy hats. One was even sporting a monocle, another a vest, a third an ivory cane with matching cufflinks. Elijah remained unchanged, still shoeless and dirty from the accident, still in his school uniform. Realizing his lack of transformation, he redoubled his efforts and buried himself behind a particularly broad-shouldered man wearing a 1920s zoot suit. Illuminated from above, the Swan Lady shone. He lost himself in the scene, the movement, the complete feeling of elation that seemed to emanate from her. I don't even like to dance, thought Elijah. Yet here he was, being taken by the scene nonetheless. He woke with music in his ears. The second and third nights were quite like the first. The dance, the elation, Swan Lady's illuminating gaze. When the boys transformed into men, Elijah once again remained the same. Her transformative powers had skipped over him. He was still dirty and shoeless, still naked despite being covered. This can't be real, thought Elijah. By the fourth night, Elijah realized he was dreaming. Peering over the shoulder of the same broad-shouldered man who was now wearing a stylized black tuxedo, he watched Swan Lady closely. As she moved, the scene changed, or rather, it grew. Chandeliers illuminated spaces that were previously dark. Tables of hors d'oeuvres popped into and out of existence. The music followed her movement. It slowed down or sped up in time with her steps. Each man whispered of her beauty. Swan Lady smiled and span and smiled some more. Elijah just watched. He was as captivated by the scene as the men around him were. Turning again, she beckoned the broad-shouldered man to replace her current partner. With a haste resembling a shoulder snapping to attention, he obliged, instantly syncing his movements to hers. In that instant, Eliza was exposed. Swan Lady's gaze moved sharply from the broad-shouldered man to settle directly onto Elijah's face. She gasped. "But this is impossible," she said, more to herself than to anyone present. "Why don't you look like them?" She stumbled and fell to the floor, dislodging her face mask. Quickly standing, she moved to fix her long, chocolate-brown wavy hair, which had fallen into disarray. Staring at him, she began intensely rubbing her hands together. The music stopped. The men disappeared. The room cleared, and the space seemed to open into an endless white void. They were now standing, held firm to nothingness. "Who are you?" she asked. Eliza looked around and shook his head. "What do you mean, who am I? This isn't real. You're not real. I'm dreaming this. I've been having this dream every night since the accident." Squinting directly into his eyes, she whispered, "No, you're wrong. This is my dream, and somehow you've gotten into it." So, that's the preface to the story. Now, Lucidity is a work in progress, meaning that it's an ongoing thing. So I'm obviously in the process of writing it, and I've written maybe, I think, 6 to 7 chapters so far, and I'm sort of working on it every week. I'm sharing this with you for a couple of reasons. The first one is I want to share what I'm doing. So obviously I talk a lot about mental health, mental illness, and all that sort of stuff. But I also want to share with you what I'm working towards that is outside of that, like sort of the other side of what I'm doing, my dreams, my aspirations. So you can see that when I'm talking about people following their dreams, you can see what I'm doing. So this book is a way for me to show that. It's what I'm working on. It's the first, quote unquote, true novel that I'm going for. I'm not sure how long it will be, but I've got it all structured. I've got it all worked out, and I'm super excited to bring it to you. Now, as you know, I release everything I do for free, in the sense that chapter by chapter, I'm putting out all of my books. How to Get Shit Together, Upgrade, Under the Influence, Wage Slave. I'm going to put them all out there over time. Now, the reason I do this is because I believe that people should be able to access information that helps them for free. And if they want to support what I'm doing, they can choose to purchase a copy of the book or support me in any other way. So the reason I'm releasing or sharing or talking about this is because I want to let you know what I'm doing for Lucidity as a way to provide a benefit to my Patreon supporters. So for Patreon supporters, I've created a Patreon tier. Now this is the Lucidity tier. And basically, people that support me at this tier will be able to get early access to chapters. So I'll be uploading chapters. I've put 2 up already. I'll upload the ones that I've done in over time. And basically you'll be able to read them as I go, as I'm writing the book. I'll upload them, share them with you exclusively. Now, what that means is you get a couple of things. You get early access to the book, you get to connect with me and see the back end of what I'm doing, and you get to see the changes and sort of the creative process behind what I'm doing. So if you like what I'm doing here, if you think that you want to support what I'm doing and you want early access to the rest of the story, like I've said, I've got 6 chapters up. Support me on that Patreon tier and I will upload it and it's exclusive to you. Now, obviously when the book comes out, there'll be changes, but I'm going to be talking to you guys through the changes so you get to see that back end. And yeah, I've seen other authors do this, and it just sort of seems to work as the best way for me to share what I'm doing with you and sort of give the people that are choosing to support me a little bit more bonus or more benefit for their patronage. You guys get something that other people don't, but also whilst maintaining the idea that I'm going to release everything I do for free, because once this book is out, I will start sharing it, but you guys get to see the whole process. And who knows how long this is going to take. I know that it took me maybe 2 years to write How to Get Your Shit Together, and it was a long process. So this is one of those things that could take time over time. The tier is $10 per month. So for $10 per month, you get the behind the scenes access to Lucidity. And yeah, I'm going to start chucking the chapters up. So if you like, click the link down below and you'll be able to start supporting that and start getting involved. So I'm super curious to see if you guys are interested, and if you are, that $10 per month Patreon support, let's do it. The other thing I want to let you know is I've also started a How to Get Your Shit Together tier. And same idea, I'm going to release everything I do for free, all that sort of stuff. But I've realized that there will be a percentage of people that want to support, but also want to get a little bit of something back. So if you support me on the How to Get Your Shit Together tier, this is once again $10 as well per month. Every month I'll ask everyone in there to give me a topic or an idea, and I'll start doing blogs, podcasts, or videos on those questions. So I'll say to that group, hey, if you've got a question, let me know, and I'll talk about it there. So it's another way to support me in a way that I can get support, give you guys something back, but not detract from everyone, because I don't know, there's something in me that I know that the reason I'm doing all of this is because I want to be able to put stuff out there that can help people, but I don't want to put it behind a paywall, but then I still want to encourage people to support, and it's trying to find this balance. So this is sort of what I'm working with at the moment. So I've got the $10 How to Get Your Shit Together tier to basically ask questions. I'll turn them into videos, blogs, podcasts as I see. I've got the Lucidity tier, once again, $10, and that gives you behind the scenes access to the book as I'm writing the chapters, as I'm going on, and I'll give you the updates. I might change things here and there, I'll let you know. And then I'm going to make a third tier, which will be $15, where you get both. So look, if you're interested, please do. And if not, that's okay. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But really everything I'm doing here takes time, and that's time that I could be putting to other stuff. But the more patronage I get, the more money I'm earning from it, the more I can put towards doing books and blogs and podcasts and all of that sort of stuff. So if you're finding value with what I'm doing and you'd like me to be able to commit more time to it and sort of give it back to you and sort of helping out in that sense, if you think what I'm doing is worth supporting, consider those options. You can always just, if that's too much or you don't want any of those benefits or you just want to support, you can jump on the Patreon and just put it up for literally $1 per month. $1 per month on your end is not that much, but on my end, it makes a massive difference when people collectively get together. Just a final thing before I sign off, the reason I like Patreon is that it shows me the amount per month. So the book sales and all of that sort of stuff, it's not that much money, and it goes up and down. It's not consistent, and there's always that unknown in my mind. So I can't really plan to use that to live off, at least not yet, because I haven't seen what it's going to be doing. I don't know how much it is. So I'm using the book sales and that sort of stuff to, I bought a better laptop, for example, because the laptop I had 15 gig of space that was mainly taken up by Windows, so I needed a better laptop. I'm using it to buy an upgrade so I can work better and work harder. But the Patreon gives me that steady income, and that steady income allows me to keep earning and working and knowing what I've got, so I can dedicate more time and sort of veer my time down this path as opposed to wage slaving. Not that I don't like my job, but I would like to do more of this. So with all that in mind, just going through, Lucidity is going to come out. I'm going to release the chapters chapter by chapter. If you're in the Lucidity tier, you'll be able to access them. And there's also the How to Get Shit Together tier and just the Patreon in general. So I'll check the link down below to Patreon. You can check it out, sign up, and for everyone that's already done so, thank you so much. And for everyone that connects with me and messages me and all of that sort of stuff, I can't say enough how blown away I am by your support. So once again, thank you. Have a good one.